now we want to bring in Shai Franklin, Middle East analyst and partner with Gotham Government Relations. Great to see you.
Great to be back.
Thanks for being on the show. All right, so after the meeting with the president, Secretary of State Pompeo had said that the U.S. would give Saudi Arabia several more days to conduct its investigation, to complete the investigation. What do you make of the delay, though, in the face of the mounting international pressure?
I think they're trying to figure out what to do. The Saudis are trying to figure out what to do. The Americans are trying to figure out what to do. I think the administration and the Saudi regime would like this to somehow go away. It won't go away. So they both want to figure out, both sides want to figure out how to make it work. Turkey wants to see what they can get out of it.
Right.
So Turkey's looking to milk this a little bit. But Washington and Riyadh are looking to resolve it one way or another.
So the question has been raised time and again already since the story broke. Can the Saudis be actually trusted here to investigate this thoroughly, especially because it is widely believed that Saudi officials are behind the murder?
Yeah, I mean, you have to ask the question, I understand, but it's a kind of question that is better asked on The Daily Show, really. It really boggles the mind.
Right.
Look, the FBI in the United States did this follow-up investigation about the allegations regarding Justice Kavanaugh. Mm-hmm. We could agree or disagree on that, but at least we know that when the FBI does an investigation, it's going to be somewhat professionalized and independent, and they're going to come back with their findings. It may be limited, it may not be what we want, but that's the FBI. In Saudi Arabia, it doesn't work that way. Everybody is answerable to the Crown Prince.
Well, so the president today conceding that Khashoggi is very likely dead. It's the first time that he's actually said that. Will this ever be fully resolved, though, in the absence of a smoking gun? We've been hearing about the audio recordings.
I think the audio recordings would be helpful. The fact that the Saudi Security Services Director of Forensics apparently was there on the scene when this crime was being committed suggests that the Saudi forensic investigation won't be entirely independent. If nothing is found, then it makes it very difficult to prove anything. But the future of Saudi Arabia is not going to turn on this one individual who seems like was really going to be a change maker in Saudi Arabia, for Saudi Arabia. There's a lot more going on. There's Yemen. There's what the Crown Prince has been doing with the economic reforms, which involves bringing princes to the hotel and holding them until they give him his money, until they give him his money. Sorry, their money. Now it's his. So there's a lot more going on there. It's not just this one incident, but this is what's so shocking, and it really, I think it comes home to people in Washington because Jamal Khashoggi was in Washington for so much of the last few months.
President Trump under a little criticism here for some of his comments about this, particularly when he compared what's going on with Khashoggi to the Kavanaugh process. He said, basically, here we go again with, you know, you're guilty until proven innocent. Was this his way of telling the world, just back off for a beat? President Trump is a negotiator, and so you try to put different markers down now that you can always back away from. So I think that's what he was trying to do when the Secretary of State was off in Saudi Arabia and in Turkey. He was trying to give some cover, maybe give some wiggle room to see what he could do. I'm not going to second guess the president, but he likes to shoot from the hip. The Crown Prince also likes to shoot from the hip. Steve Mnuchin, though, announcing that he's going to be pulling out of the Davos in the Desert Economic Summit. How big of a deal is that, actually? And it wasn't just him; it was a UK minister as well.
But I think Mnuchin was the real big fish that was left, and now I understand. I think Fox has also pulled out,
yes.
So there are no more media partners. But you don't want to be the last one in the room. And I think it's important for U.S. credibility not to show up for something like that. That's going to be a real bust. And it would actually draw more attention to the difficulty that the Saudis are in.
The U.S. It seems to be very cautious here in how it's been responding, really parsing the language for the most part. And Secretary of State Pompeo stressed several times that the long strategic partnership with Saudi Arabia. So does that underscore how delicate of a situation there actually is playing out right now?
It's a very delicate situation. I think there's concern for U.S.-Saudi relations. There's also concern for what might happen within the ruling circles of Saudi Arabia. The Crown Prince may not be the ideal person to run the country right now, but there's no easy way to change the leadership there. So I think there's some healthy caution from the U.S. side. There's also look, this is, if you look at the way the Kavanaugh issue was handled, other issues in the past have been handled. The kidnapping of the Lebanese prime minister, it's not always so easy, and our administration here in the United States is not always so expert on how it deals with these issues. We still do not have an ambassador in Saudi Arabia.
Quick question though here. So what do you expect to hear in several days, as the Secretary of State said? Give him several more days.
I think there will be some kind of what do they call it, an allocution, where the Saudis say this is what happened, and the U.S. agrees not to investigate it further. That this idea that they floated that there was an interrogation that went awry, and maybe they shouldn't have done that kind of interrogation, but he's a Saudi citizen, it was the consulate. Maybe they'll find some fall guy from the Saudi side, but that doesn't. You don't have two private jets coming with all these security people to do something and going back right away to Saudi Arabia without the Crown Prince not only knowing about it, but ordering it. He's made Saudi Arabia much more monolithic in terms of the leadership structure. So nothing happens without his wanting it to happen. It's like Putin in Russia.
Shai Franklin, thanks for coming back on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right.